Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you my August flip in two planners because I was in two planners in the month of August. So let's go ahead and dive on in. Here are the two planners that were in the mix for August. So this is a Pocket Luxe 2.0 Veg Tan Motorman Apricot. I was in this from the end of May through the first half of August. Then there was a bit of a switch up that needed to be made. Go watch my planner crisis video for why I was switching out of rings back into an all-in-one bound book. But let's go ahead and start with the beginning of August here in this ring planner. So I have just a little few pins and a little dashboard here, which was super fun. And the very beginning of this planner is always going to be my future log situation. I don't use a traditional monthly. I like to have a just overview of events and then sort of the inbox of things that need to be done during the month of August. When you see a little star on a page, that means that that page is closed out. Those pages have been migrated. I no longer need to reference them from a task perspective. If there's any information, they will have been indexed if it's in a bound book. So this is my August monthly. It's really not that exciting. Then we go ahead and get into the weeklies, which I'll show you here. I was in through this month of August. My weeklies are pretty simple. I keep them pretty straightforward. There's events overviews here in the weekly, vitamins, cleaning, and then a personal and a work rolling task list of things that I want to get done this week, but they're not a day specific task. And this was a week on 2 page freebie from Peanuts Planner Co. And then this was August 5th through 11th, this is close to when I was getting ready to switch into my TN notebook. And you can see I didn't really set up August 12th through 18th because at that point I had actually switched over into this little journal. So there are some weeklies. So August 9th through 11th here. This all happened in this booklet. This is my B6 Slim. So I guess I was really in 3 books in June, but you can see here was Monday, here was Tuesday. This was very messy. It was absolutely what I needed when I needed it. This was a Wednesday. This was the following week, and then I was in the standard notebook. So there wasn't a whole lot that happened in this B6 Slim. It was sort of the interim notebook. So then let's go ahead and get into the dailies. I wasn't really in this a whole lot in the month of August because I realized I was sort of in flux, but this is a typical daily for me. I have my work task list, a daily timeline, and then personal to-dos and extra notes, day on 2 page. Here we go. I was not keeping really good track of things in this book this week, which is part of why I switched, because if I'm not using something, then there's a reason why, and I needed to figure it out. And so you can see I worked this day, but I wrote nothing down in this book. I was keeping track of things in notes. Again, a pretty full daily. You can see I was running low on space here for my work to-dos, which is part of the reason why I needed to switch back into a bigger book. This was great during June and July when I traveled more because everything was just in here and it was a little smaller. Thursday. And then this was really the last day I was in this book because again, on the 9th is when I snuck into this guy. So those are my monthlies, my monthly, my weeklies, and my dailies from August in my personal rings. So what's really been carrying me through the rest of August after I got out of my B6 Slim is this Sterling Ink 272 page TN size notebook. I am getting back into not a necessarily TN system, but just the standard size is something I really, really enjoy. So let's go ahead. And again, keep in mind, I don't use a traditional monthly. So here was my monthly from August. And again, anytime there's a star on something, that means that that has been closed out, moved on. We're good. I don't need to reference this for anything. So I have my work master list, my personal master list, and then any additional notes, I just transferred my spending log here, or my no spend, which was not super great because I got a lot of extra stationery stuff. Stationery is usually on one of my no spend categories because if I don't watch it, I will spend a lot of money on stationery, but I hadn't bought stuff for bound book setup in a bit. So this was really quite fun. So this is my August monthly. Then we'll get into the weeklies, which this August 19th was the first full week that I was in this book. So we have, I just set this up. It's a blank notebook. I'm bullet journaling, or my version of bullet journaling in this. I always keep my events overview that I transfer in from my Google Calendar, keep track of my vitamins, my weekly cleaning, my personal to-do list, and my work to-do list. And you can see I use my bullet journal signifiers in here. I'm going to be doing a video on what the core of my planning is, because you'll notice between my rings and this book, how I use it and what I use, where I organize things, and how I migrate tasks doesn't really shift a whole lot. This was the last week of August into the first week of September. So there was only really 2 weeklies in this book that were in August. Same setup. We've got events, some basic health tracking here, my personal to-do list, my work to-do list, my vitamins, my cleaning, and then my signifiers telling me what I've migrated. So those were my weeklies from August. Then we have the dailies, and this is where it gets fun. So I got into this officially on Saturday, August 17th is when I set this up. And I decided to just do Saturday and Sunday on one page because I didn't need to do a 2-page spread. This is stationery orders from August, which I did migrate from my other book. Any orders I do make in September, because I will be ordering from the Sterling Ink orders, a planner for my mom, and then getting just some passport-sized booklets for myself, because that's part of my planning system. I use a weekly passport insert to log my just daily spending that's not regular bills, and then also keep track of some workout trends of just what my workouts looked like over the course of the month, just for a quick glance to see trends over time. So this is the shop. Was it shipped? Was it delivered? And I just check it off and I keep it updated. So there we go. Then we have what my normal daily looks like with a day on 2 pages, where I have my daily timeline, which has been going strong for quite some time. I really like keeping a timeline in my daily. I fill it in as I go. This is not a pre-planning situation. This is a what is happening in real time as the day is going, and doing these little updates once or twice a day on what my day is looking like is quite fun. My work to-do list, and then my personal to-do list, and then any additional notes for the day, some basic habits for myself, and again, a star if it's closed out. And this is pretty much the layout for Monday through Friday. So you'll see here, again, very basic, rooted in the bullet journal method. I was not feeling well this day, so I missed that concert. I was so bummed. I was not feeling well pretty much this whole day. I did nothing. And then again, what actually happened as the day went on, any notes, which I don't always write stuff in notes, but I like having the option there. This was really fun. This was a lot of just pen only. I'm not a big bright colors person, but my future sister-in-law gifted me some mild liners, and I really liked this bright pink. And what I typically do is I set up the week in advance with sort of the same washi tape and same vibe, so that it's just set up for the following week or 2 weeks, so I can start plugging things in if I need to. And then this is a Saturday, Sunday. Again, sometimes I keep a daily timeline on a weekend, sometimes I don't. I did a lot of work this weekend. I worked both days this weekend. You can see work and work. So I kept a personal task list and then my just work task list for the weekend as a whole. And then here I have my marketing notes for August through September. I am still referencing this because I'm still finishing up some assets and things for mid to the end of September, but we're also in the process of planning and recording assets for October. The marketing piece of running my business is always an ongoing task. Anything that you see covered with a sticky note is just people's sensitive information or names and Instagram handles and communication bits that I don't want shown. I keep usually for that week behind all my dailies a communication log for that week. And this is really people that I need to follow up with that have inquired about coaching. Maybe they submitted something online and I need to get back with them. I like to keep track of that over the course of the week, because I'll reference this page every single day pretty much. And then I create a little marketing checklist for most of the months. This is, again, because this is a blank notebook and I'm just putting in what I need as I need it. This is just a marketing and branding brainstorm. I'm going through a few updates with my coaching business here lately, which are all feeling really great, but I needed just to brainstorm some things. I'll take a gray fine liner or my Tombow fine tip, and I just draw a line down the center of the page if I need to make a big list about something so that I can just keep the list going. Again, here's my October marketing map. You might have seen this page in the video that I did on how I create 150 or more pieces of content every single month for my coaching business. You can see I'm starting to now check things off. Here's a new week. Oh, I loved this setup. I hadn't ordered new stickers in a little bit. And so Planner Monkey Co. Sydney had these bubble letters, which this green mint color, which is actually pretty close to one of my brand colors for my business. So I really love it. And these heart date dot stickers. Oh, love it. With this book washi from her shop that I got a while ago. Plus this pink was still really, really fun. I was really enjoying it. So yay me. And then here we go, work, personal, and then notes. So instead of doing work, personal, notes, I kept the notes on this side next to the timeline and did work and personal. And again, a star means it's cleared out. She had these stickers, Sydney had these stickers that say, I cry a lot, but I'm so productive, from the Taylor Swift song. And I normally don't try to ha-ha funny my way through hard things because I think that it's really easy to make light of hard things when we really need to just like let them be hard. But this is really felt appropriate this day. Anyway, so this was fun. I just love having a blank notebook page to play with. Wednesday, another, I cry a lot, but I'm so productive. Oh, you can see what a disaster this day was. It was just absolutely wild. I worked a lot this day to catch up on things. JK, I did some close. Try again tomorrow. JK, I did some. Yes. These are some notes on Pinterest that I was just brainstorming. So on page 62 in my index, I wrote notes on Pinterest so that when I go back to actually start researching and collating and putting together the information for myself, I will actually be able to see where in my notebook I pulled these notes, migrate these to wherever they go to, and then that's where it is. I love indexing. Indexing is a huge part of the system. Again, a sticky note covering people's information, some daily timeline. This is fun. I did this note priority. So anything that was highlighted in pink was a priority. A Friday, very simple day. This day we went dress shopping for my sister-in-law for her wedding dress. Me and her mom went with her to the bridal shop and she did find her dress and she looked so amazing. And I cannot wait for my brother to see her walk down the aisle because the dress she picked was, funnily enough, and I think this happens more often than not, the complete opposite of what she thought she wanted and what she even thought she would feel good in. And it was amazing because she looked so good in every single dress she tried on that she really just was able to choose the one that she felt the best in and the one that she could see herself getting married in. And then we started seeing the dress and the style and we started coming up with ideas for extra things and like cute jackets. The wedding isn't until next October of 2025. But I cannot wait to just bombard everybody with the photos of my brother's wedding. I'm so excited. Okay, so this was a Friday. And then this was a Saturday and Sunday. I actually really hate this spread because I whited out some stuff because I actually wrote some stuff in that I didn't need. And then my pen was not working. It was a disaster, but we were up north Saturday, Sunday through Monday. And then this was for this following week. Again, just covering sensitive information, but I started doing a weekly recurring task overview for different areas of my business because I can't write all of this in my daily every single day. It will drive me nuts. So I go back and forth depending on whatever season that I'm in of having a weekly reference Alistair method inspired of what are the daily recurring tasks I need to do for client delivery, social media engagement, community engagement, and admin. And then I'm not going to obviously show you this because that's people's information. What's funny is once I'm done with people's personal information, what I do is I take a black brush marker and I do just black it out because I don't want somebody to find this notebook and then be like, oh, I have this person's like address and phone number, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not done referencing this. So sticky note for now. This was me trying to figure out, because if you saw my planner crisis video, this was me trying to figure out where I'm keeping my master tasks list for both work and personal. I had dumped a bunch of stuff into my notes. What I want to use is sort of a digital database, because I'm not going to write out like a long ass URL if there's like a link or a web page I need to go back and reference. But for example, I have a note in here that I need to go back and see the course, GI map course, see notes. And that to me tells me that there's like a link to follow for that specific resource. I'm still working on this. Do I need to use Notion? Do I just clean up and archive my Apple Notes? Because I do love Apple Notes and I use it on all of my devices and it's searchable and it's very easy. It's just a hot mess express. So should I go through, clean it up, sort things into folders? Like, is that what I do? Because Notion, I'm trying to sort out how I would use it, but it almost is more work figuring out how to use it than actually using it. And I know it's a great tool. I don't know if I have the bandwidth to do that. I don't want to house everything in Asana because my assistant is switching us from ClickUp to Asana for our project management for my business, especially on stuff that her and I have to collaborate on. So that's why I'm like, Apple Notes, TBD. Once I know, I'll let you guys know. Then this is this past week starting in September. So this was September 2nd. So that's my August pages. Now, the fun part about this planner and part of the reason of switching it into a bound book is I wanted to stick a journal back here because I micro journal as the day goes on. And what I was doing is I was micro journaling in my cousin plus using an additional notebook for planning. So I'd separated out my planner and my journal because they were one setup for the majority of 2023 and 2024. Then I needed to separate them out because I was really struggling. The journaling was distracting me from actually getting work done. But now my productivity has really improved and I'm able to stay focused and the journaling doesn't distract me anymore. But I do need it for just brain breaks and processing intermittently as the day goes on. So like micro journaling or even interstitial journaling is what some people might call it. The way that this book is set up is it's got the monthlies, weeklies, and dailies in space for at least through September 30th. I put a little tab here because I wanted to denote what I actually needed to get through September. October may or may not fit in this book. Like it might, but it'll be a tight squeeze if it does. If it fits, I'll let it live because I have enough pages, or I thought I had enough pages for all the weeks. I do have the weeks panned out. So like, for example, if we go to my weekly, you'll see I have September through the end of September 29th here. And then I have another week for October, and then October, and then I think a couple extra pages. And then this is my dailies, right? So weeklies and dailies, there's room. And even in my monthlies, like I have September, October, like because I have to future plan, like, look, even I had to put stuff in January and February already. So this is my future log. And I have enough room for the weeklies. I ended up using a lot more pages in the dailies section where you saw like I set up this page and then I set up like this extra branding and marketing to-do list. And then I set up an extra master task list. And then I've also got this brain dump. And then there's all these extra pages. So for the week for planning, I use at a minimum 14 pages plus another 2 to 6 pages if I need it. And I just pick up whatever is the next blank page, right? That's why I index, because I don't always have things super in chronological order because it's bullet journaling. It doesn't need to be in chronological order necessarily, as long as I know what page it's on. And then sometimes I'll put tabs, like I have these little page flags. So like this I know is brainstorm for September YouTube ideas and emails that I want to write. I know that this is going to be my branding and marketing stuff that I need to reference plus my October marketing. And I know the little green tab is my master task list. So like I can just flip to these pages really easily. I just stick a little tab on them. And then I know this one is my weekly client resources and recurring to-do list. So for example, I know I'll use enough pages, but will I actually have enough? Because I can't actually fit, I did calculate it, I can't actually fit all my October, the minimum number of pages I need for October in this back. So what I could do is fit October in here, but then I have to figure out how many additional pages might I need and where are those going to come from? Like if I have the October weeklies in here, I can't add more pages up there. I would have to set aside maybe an additional 2 pages per week in my journaling section. And I don't really want to do that. So realistically speaking, though, I'm going to end up adding, like, I'm going to end up using more pages in this back section for September than I think, like, what I will actually go through. So, like, even here, I started adding some because I need at least this much to get through the end of September dailies. Then this is extra notes. So depending on how many extra notes pages I use over the course of September, at least I know I marked out my dailies, and then we'll see where I am at the end of September. If I need to move into a new book, I got a little stash of standard size notebooks that I can just jump into. But my journal here in the back, I did give myself enough for a day per page. And this is where I'm not really using actually a full day per page realistically. It's close, but I don't do it every day. It just depends on the day. So this is just my basic journal setup. And again, it's nothing groundbreaking. It's just my like random thoughts at any given time. So I usually put like a little sticker and then I put the time and then I just write. And I put my little daily header. I don't use a full page per day, and sometimes I don't. There's some days that I didn't journal at all. It's just the random things that are floating around in my brain at that time. You know, some days I write more. Like Saturday, I had a lot of thoughts. Some days I write less. This was Monday. Did I go through the next page? This was Monday. So like this day, Monday, I did 1 and like a quarter total pages. This Tuesday, I did like 1.5. So again, some days I write more and then some days I write less. This was a Wednesday, so Thursday. But I'm using about a page per day. If I did count it, I am using about a page per day is what it averages out to. So I don't realistically think that I could set aside some more pages back here for extra notes or extra October dailies because they won't fit. Like I'll run out of pages mid-October and I would just rather move into a new book at the start of the month because that to me seems like a more natural transition. Or maybe I just use it up until the last full week of October that will actually fit in here and then transition. Obviously, we know I have no problem moving into a book mid-month. And if I do that, because if there's a significant amount of pages still left in here, I might just use it until maybe the middle of October and then I'll switch it. And so, yeah. Okay, so and then these are my up until Friday, August 30th, but then you see I didn't journal again until the September 3rd. So, you know, we're not doing every single day, but we're doing most days. And that's what my journal pages look like. There's really no rhyme or reason. I will set up usually, you know, in advance, like I have washi tape set up on pages sort of in advance. And then when I start sneaking up into this page, I'll pick another washi and do a couple more pages of washi. So yeah, that's my August. So we started August in here and this was great. Then we jumped into here because this is sort of my SOS bujo that I use whenever I'm sort of trying to figure out why my system is not working anymore. And I love this because again, it's just this B6 Slim and it's very light to carry around. I was in it in March and then in May and then in August. So I really just use it when I need it. And then I switched into this officially, and this is what I'm going to probably be living in a version of this until I get antsy again. But I will fill up, this is a 272 page notebook. I will fill this up usually in 2 to 3 months, just depending on how much nonsense I stick in here as the days go on. So yep, that's all she wrote. All right, if you guys have any questions about anything that you saw in the video or my system, let me know. I will be doing a overview of my core planning system of the things that don't change even when I switch into a different size or from bound book to rings or rings to bound book. The core pieces or collections, if you will, that don't change based off of my original roots in the bullet journal method and in that video will also take a look at the very first bullet journal that I used in October of 2021. So anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. If you are not subscribed, I would love for you to join our community here. You can follow me on Instagram at elena.m.plants. And if you did like this video, smash that like button and let me know in the comments, what are you looking forward to here in the next leg of 2024 with your notebooks? Are you excited to finish something? Have you been in the same system all year long? Are you like me and you switch things up every 2 to 3 months? Let me know. All right, catch you guys on the next one.